Check 1 2, check 1 2. Welcome back to edition number 24 of Talon Talk. In this week's edition, we're going to be talking to two members of the UNF softball team, Morgan Clausen and Ashley Goebel. They were the battery that helped UNF to a 1-0 walk-off win against Stony Brook, but it was also a perfect game. So we're going to go into that story this episode. Before that, let's look into the action around the athletic department as we normally do. It is postseason time for a number of programs. It's crossover season and definitely a lot is going on. So if we go back to last weekend, men's basketball earned a share of the ASUN regular season championship, Saturday earning the number 2 seed in the ASUN championship. The Ospreys split the title with 1-seeded Liberty, who fell to Lipscomb on the final game. UNF ended the regular season with a win at Stetson, and in the opening round of the ASUN championship, UNF topped Jacksonville for the third time this season, defeating the Dolphins 91-88. And the Ospreys are still leading the country in three-pointers. UNF had a number of postseason selections as well. Both its coaches and the players were recognized recently. Head coach Matthew Driscoll and his staff were named Coach of the Year, while Yvonne Gandia-Rosa, Garrett Sams earned ASUN first team honors, and sophomore Cutter Hendrickson was honored to the ASUN second team. Looking at softball had a historic 2 days that included a 4-0 weekend, a 9-inning perfect game, 3 walk-off wins, and 2 victories against Power 5 opponents. North Florida defeated number 19 Virginia Tech, downed Purdue, defeated Stony Brook, who was undefeated, and walked off against Akron in come-behind fashion. So UNF scored 3 times in the fourth to hold on and upend Virginia Tech. That was the first game of the weekend, and 4 runs over the final 2 innings to propel UNF past Purdue 7-6. Morgan Clausen spun UNF's first perfect game since 2002 in a 1-0 win against Stony Brook Saturday. And the winning run came on a Shannon Glover squeeze bunt that scored Kayla McGorry. Down 2-0 in the 7th, UNF scored 3 2-out runs to walk off against Akron to conclude the weekend. Looking at men's and women's track and field, they were in Lynchburg, Virginia. Men's and women's indoor track and field competed at the ASUN Indoor Championships. The men earned the gold in the distance medley relay, and Yasiel Torres claimed his second straight conference crown in the high jump. Overall, the men finished with the gold, silver, and 2 bronze medals. Junior Louisa Washburn set an ASUN record in the pole vault, and Kaylee Petrosky finished third in the high jump on day 1. All told, the women finished 5th. Looking at both the men's and women's tennis squads, women's tennis has won 15 straight home games. UNF downed FAU on Monday, improving to 8-1 on the year, while the men's team improved to 5-0 with a 5-2 win against Mercer Friday, February 28th. The men are off to their best start since becoming a Division I program. Looking at baseball concluded the weekend with a stellar pitching performance from Tony Roca to help UNF down Hartford 7-2. Trey Spratling-Williams homered twice on the weekend. Tony Roca went 7 strong, allowing only 1 unearned run, striking out 2, walking 1 with 95 pitches. Let's get back to what we just talked about, a very impressive, exciting, and memorable moment for UNF softball and for Morgan Clausen. Thank you, too, for being in the studio today to talk about that day last weekend.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Perfection. What does it feel like? Does it feel like you think it would if you were to, envision throwing a perfect game?
I don't know. It just seems like another game. I've been kind of struggling with feeling good after games, even if I'm getting the results that I need. But I don't know. It feels like a normal game. I don't know if it's set in yet.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it just felt like another day, like on the field with Morgan, like always keeping it calm, keeping it fun. I don't know. I trust her behind the plate, so just catching her balls, doing her thing. Is
that kind of the environment you want to create when your guys are out there? You guys want to keep it light? Because I know some batteries, they're like intense, like that they're going to be intense. They're like high energy. but you guys want to be calm and collected or keep it light? Is that, the case?
Yeah, I think a lot of catchers like feed off of the energy of like the pitcher sometimes, and like I've been told to be like more excited and more hype, and I don't know, I just like I don't know if that's necessarily who I am. I just am very like focused and calm, but I don't know, like there's times that I'll just like I laugh stuff off. Like if I throw like a wild pitch, like Wild and Ashley like has to lunge for it, and I just laugh when other people might get upset about it.
Or like cross her up or something.
Yeah. She loves when I do that.
Sure, every catcher does. What are your thoughts about it now?
I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to think that like it was possible, because I don't see myself really as like a strikeout pitcher. And I mean, I wasn't that day. I don't know how many strikeouts I had. I only had a couple though.
Looks like you struck out everybody in the lineup at least once though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it goes out a lot to my defense behind me, because I know I'm more of like a ground ball, like pitch to contact pitcher, and they really had my back that day on Saturday.
So one of the interesting things that I saw going through the play-by-play is that you got the first 3 batters of the game you all went to a full count on. I mean, you'll do that, but you got your bearings and you got all of them out. Do you know how many more times you went to a full count?
Probably a lot.
0.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like.
So you went to a full count 0 more times. So you got that out of the way, and that probably really helped you in terms of stamina and just staying in the game and getting outs quickly. What was working for you once you got out of that first inning?
I think getting ahead, getting like the first pitch strikes, and like keeping them off balance with like my different pitches and stuff. Because we didn't really start any batter the same we would the previous batter, so they couldn't start like picking up on any like patterns and pitches and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What were you calling a lot of, or does Marcy call most of the pitches?
Our pitching staff, so Coach Marcy and
Mm-hmm.
Coach Radke, they work together to help, pick the best pitches that we can throw against our opponents, and they do their research, and I communicate with them like where batters are in the box and stuff. So, I mean, they called a great game, and I mean Morgan threw her best stuff, so it worked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. So softball is interesting, where you get a lot of perfect games that are 5 innings. You get those run-ruled ones. You can get 7 inning, perfect games as well. But you had a 9, and you have to deal with the pressure of having a person on second base too. Because it was 0-0, did you just feel like you were trying to win, so you didn't care too much about the perfect game, so to speak?
Yeah, I think because I mean Stony Brook's pitcher was throwing great as well, so I think I was just doing what I could to keep my team in it and doing like my part, because I'm not going to go out there and hit a bomb or anything, but I'm doing my side of the game for my team.
Mm-hmm. For you, were you nervous for her? Or how does that work for a catcher?
No, I wasn't nervous at all during that game. Like, I try to keep things fun and just like stay calm and collected behind the plate, and I totally trust Morgan. Like, if she has a wild pitch, like, I'll laugh about it, but it's not the end of the day. Like, I know she's going to throw the next pitch harder, so I don't know.
Was there any play in the game where you're like, that perfect game's over?
Okay, so Stony Brook has 2 girls that I've played against back home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they were hitting like 3 and 4 maybe, and like back home, like they were always older than me, and one of them would always just hit rockets off of me, and so every time she came up, I was like I'd have to like take a deep breath. Like after the first inning, I pitched to her, and I like came back in the dugout, and I was shaking so bad. I was like, okay, it's over, it's good. And then
are these people like you've like kept in touch with at all, or are they?
Yeah, we try to keep in touch a little bit. I think
you just like were rivals growing up.
Yeah, I would say that. So and like I think it might have been the 8th inning or the 9th. I don't know. It all matches together.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the girls that I knew was placed on second, and then the other one I knew was trying to bunt her over, and so I was like, okay, this can't be the moment. Like, I just got to go right at her.
That would stink if it was a bunt that broke up the perfect game.
Yeah.
But softball is a little bit different, I think, etiquette-wise than baseball, where it's like in baseball, it's like unwritten rule that you don't bunt against somebody during a perfect game. I don't know if that's the case with softball, though, because it's even more of a part of the game in softball. I mean, I don't know if that was going through your mind, like someone's going to lay one down.
I mean, I thought about it. I was like, okay, they're going to bunt because that's, in this situation, like, you have a runner placed on second, and it's just kind of tradition that your first batter's going to bunt her over, and then usually you're going to, like, squeeze and bunt the girl in. But I was, I kind of kept peeking at my corners to see, like, how close they were playing, so I was like, okay, if she does bunt it, I know.
You're like, get in.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you not in more?
Yes. And so I was like, okay, I saw, like, how close VK was, and I was like, okay, we're going to throw outside to this girl. I know VK's going to be there, and we'll get the outs.
So were you adjusting pitch location at all, like on your own mentally? Like, I know I'm called to pitch in here.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't pitch there.
Yeah.
I think you, for the most part, when we were pretty positive they would bunt, you would throw like rise ball or something.
Yeah, just to get her to get ahead and then try to get her with my
to
good
pop
stuff.
it up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to get a bunter out. I was watching a documentary the other day about pitcher I used to watch growing up, Kerry Wood, and he sure got 20 guys in the game and was tied a major league record. And I remembered, before I listened to it before I was interviewing you guys, just to get, some thoughts going. And yeah, nobody talks to you in the dugout when you got something going on like that. Was that the treatment, or do you normally not talk to people in the dugout regardless of the outcome, or how's it going? What was it like?
Honestly, I don't even know where you go in the dugout. Like, I think we're on polar opposite sides of it.
Yeah, like, you're usually down, like, at the opening, like, cheering and, like, rah-rah. But if I'm pitching and, like, I'm, like, completely in the zone, like, sometimes I'll walk out to the bullpen and just stand there and, like, try to, like, catch my breath.
So you, like, kind of leave the field.
Yeah, I just, like, because in, like, really intense games like that, like, while I'm on the mound, I'm so in it, and, like, it's so draining sometimes. So when I can go and, like, go out to the mound in the bullpen, I can just, like, take a deep breath, and it's almost like it's not like I forget we're playing a game, but I just take a deep breath and, like, think about something else for, like, 10 seconds just to, like, reset.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you said to her that you remember?
Not specifically about, like, having a perfect game. I mean, sometimes during the game, I'll, like, call timeouts to, like, just slow things down, take a breath, and, like, I walk up to the mound and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, what are you going to eat later? I don't know, stupid stuff. Just laugh and then, get back to being serious. I don't know. Yeah.
So, I mean, you get to the bottom of the sixth and you guys are up and you're thinking, if I can push a run across here, all I have is one more inning to be perfect. Then the seventh comes and the eighth comes and the ninth comes and you're like, please score.
Yeah.
Was that in your mind, like, come on, guys? Like, please score. Like, I don't know how much longer I can push this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, because Stony Brook's a great hitting team and stuff. It was funny. I remember during one of the innings, I went into the bathroom, and we had, I don't remember, well, I obviously don't know what was going on because I was in another room. But I was in there, and I heard, like, cheering, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on. And I was like, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to see. And then I was like, well, and then another inning, I was like, well, I'm going to try it again. And the same thing happened. Like, it was kind of like momentum or something. And so the ninth inning, I didn't see Shannon's bunt. I was in the bathroom with my superstition. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to go back and watch it.
So you always do that?
Mm-mm.
She might now, though.
Yeah,
like, it's working. You might have to lock yourself in.
So you guys walked off again the next day. Mm-hmm. Were you in the bathroom then when you walked against Akron?
No, because I did try it during that game, but it wasn't working. It was like a one-game thing.
Interesting. So you didn't see it.
No.
So you weren't a part of that celebration either.
No, I walked out and everybody was on the middle of the field, and I had.
Was anybody looking for you?
I don't know. I walked out with the coaches, and I kind of looked.
You think? I mean, people like that's the anticlimactic part. Like, I thought of going back and listening to the guy broadcasting and being like, and Clausen throws a perfect game, and I was like, oh wait, like we won off on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
There's no call like that, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you know,
yeah.
kind of anticlimactic in a sense for a home team that gets a perfect game.
Yeah.
So you just kind of walked back, and what'd you do?
Yeah, I walked out. I walked out of the bathroom because I heard just uproar, and I walked out, and everybody's on the middle of the field, and I kind of turned to one of my coaches, and I was like, "What happened?" I understood that we won, but I was like, "How did we win?"
That's
and
really
she's
funny.
like, "Oh, Shannon bunted it in," and I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And then I think Coach Radke realized it was me and that I wasn't with the rest of my team in the middle of the field, and then she got super excited, and and then we kind of celebrated.
That's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like you kind of enjoyed that
Mm-hmm.
experience a little bit too,
Yeah.
the way it went down.
Yeah.
In a funny way. So what'd you do afterwards? Did you get the ball? Do you have the ball?
Yes.
Or have one of the balls?
I was given a ball, but it is not with me. I sent it back home with my parents to Colorado.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool that they
Did you
were able to
sign
see
it
me.
or anything, or?
No. It was in between games, and
Yeah.
so I was kind of rushed, but no,
Yeah.
they have it, and they have the score book and everything, and all the zeros that I threw. So.
Sorry, I
yeah.
guess you walked off the same day then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Yeah, we like to do that.
Yeah, you did a lot this weekend.
Yeah, a lot.
Three different times, and Shannon got into it a couple times. Anybody talk to you about it? Any family members? People hit you up and say, "Look at what you did."
Yeah, I had a lot of family and friends reaching out to me and posting about it, which was exciting. I've had a couple other people on Twitter giving me a nice shout out, and that's cool.
I had family members telling me to tell Morgan that was amazing, and she doesn't even know them. And I was like, "This is cool."
I will, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was catching every pitch. Yeah, so just talking about the weekend too. That was a wild weekend. Just to get the wins against Virginia Tech and Purdue, Virginia Tech being ranked, Stony Brook being a good team, but to do it the way you guys did it and to walk off as many times as you did. What was the energy around that weekend?
Oh, I feel I don't know. I just felt like the energy was so high this weekend, and I was having a lot of fun, and especially on Saturday against Virginia Tech and Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. There were some certain plays throughout the game that I would just jump in the air, and I'm get so pumped. I don't know. We had a great defensive weekend, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it also helped because, I don't know, from my viewpoint is Virginia Tech was ranked 19 and Purdue's always up there too, and I feel like we were the underdogs going into it, so there were no expectations. We just went out and played our game.
Yeah.
No distractions because of that.
Yeah.
You kind of just have fun and enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you beat Akron in kind of a fun way too. You got 2 outs and got some base runners and 3 straight hits, and
Yeah.
that one was pretty sweet to watch as well.
Yeah.
What's kind of the identity you guys you think you guys are building right now with this team? Can you kind of put a pulse on the type of personality your team has?
I feel like lately we've been talking about just playing carefree. I don't know, how would you say that?
Yeah, just play
Kind
our
of
game.
what you guys were talking about though, just you two and how you.
Yeah, just
took that game.
don't let the game put a lot of pressure on you. Go out, we want to play game at practice every day.
Mhm.
So we just want to have fun and play loose and everything. So.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have a little bit of a breather now. You got March 11th is the next game up for you guys. Softball and baseball, you play so many games. It's kind of odd to have that many days off. How do you stay sharp?
Going out and getting extra work in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the weather could possibly be a little iffy this next week and stuff. But just going out when you can and putting in the work that you need. I know our team this year has been super good about going and going to the cages at night if they feel like they need it, and
Oh yeah.
taking extra.
Night hitting is the best hitting. I'll have to say that.
Yeah, Ashley's a big fan of night
Put some
hitting.
music
Yeah.
on. and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
Hit there.
But yeah, you'll see someone out on the field at any time of the day.
I
Someone's
see
out there.
you guys hitting in the cages, too, out there certain
Yeah.
times of day, all times of day. Any other comments you want to make on the day or on the weekend?
Just huge props to Morgan. Like, that's insane, pitching a perfect game, especially in extra innings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's insane. And the fact that Stony Brook was undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even bigger for
So
that too. Pretty cool seeing that many zeros in a row.
yeah,
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
Super fun game to catch. So
All right. Well, thanks for coming in today. Enjoy this little breather,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be watching you guys next time when you take on Fairfield.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Morgan. Thank you again, Ashley. Good luck. Enjoy these couple days off as you prepare for your next game. That'll be against Fairfield, March 11th. So, looking ahead, let's also talk about looking ahead to this weekend's action across basketball, women's tennis, men's tennis, baseball, and beach volleyball. Women's basketball will face JU. Some more River City Rumble action. It'll be UNF versus JU in the first round or the quarterfinals of the ASUN Championship. That will be on Saturday. And so looking ahead, men's basketball tonight, huge game against Lipscomb, the number 3 seed. They'll play at 7 p.m. in the ASUN Championship semifinals. Women's basketball, as we just said, will go to Jacksonville for a 5-4 matchup. And women's tennis will face off against Penn State. That'll be on Saturday. Men's tennis will have 3 matches this weekend. They'll be in Charlotte, facing Charlotte, Georgia State, and Appalachian State. Baseball hosts Central Michigan for a 4-game set. Very good Central Michigan team comes to Harmon. And beach volleyball will take on UNC Wilmington, Florida State, and St. John's River State for 3 matches this Saturday at the Coop. Men's and women's golf are also in action. Men's golf goes up to Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina will be hosting the General Hackler Championship. And women's golf will also be in action March 9th and 10th at the UNF Collegiate in Jacksonville, Florida. So catch all of that. Thanks for listening again to edition number 24 of Talon Talk. We'll see you here again next week.